Hi, this is Keith with S&C Fleet Repair. I'm making this video for Royal Tractor Company, and Doug down there is helping me with a problem I'm having. The steer cylinder on this 30,000 pound T300C is leaking. I've had it replace the seals at least 2 times, and the 3rd time I took it to a professional cylinder shop and they said everything looked fine. But once I get it back on the truck, it's leaking. So I'm going to take the next video down there to show you the problem. Okay, the first thing Doug wanted me to check was that the cylinder on the end here is on the same plane as this moves over, and they look really close right there. Also, you can see the wheel is moving free, and the kingpin is not binding. The wheel is free to travel all the way over, and it can come back this way. The next thing he wanted me to check was that as the cylinder comes out, that it's not moving crooked sideways up and down. We're going to start it up and we'll move the cylinder in and out, and we'll look in around the seal area to make sure that that cylinder is coming in and out straight. If it wasn't, we'd be able to see it, something move here, or the end of this would move when it hits all the way out against the head gland. So I'll have Jordan start it up and he can move the cylinder in and out from the steering wheel. So as he was moving it out and deadheading the cylinder against this, you can see the cylinder stayed nice and straight and the seal was nice and straight. Now, when we had the tire hooked up, you could actually see a leak coming down right here, and actually it's wet and it's all oil down in this area. And when the tire was hooked up on here, this was smashing over against the seal here, and on the back side, which you can't really see what would be over here, it was opening up and oil was running out. So now I'm going to put this back together. We'll let the machine back down on the ground, and then we'll see if it starts leaking again. Okay, we're back looking at this axle now that it's assembled. I went ahead and greased the grease zerks. I just got a phone call from a person at Royal, and they wanted me to check and make sure the shims were installed on the C-clamps on both sides of the cylinder. And it's kind of hard to see that, but they're back here, and they said they're tack welded on, and I checked both sides do have a shim on there. Also, you can see if we kind of move this a little bit, the linkages are still free, they're not bound up. And they wanted me to check the kingpin bearings, which is a little bit hard to do because everything is so heavy on this, but I got a pry bar here. I'm going to pry on the bottom of the tire, and the axle pivots, so the axle is going to go up first. I'm going to pry up on this and see if there's any play in the kingpins. And as I'm prying on that, I don't see any movement. And also, when these were unhooked, I did swing the wheel back and forth and it felt like it moved pretty good. So at this point, I think the kingpin, which runs through here, and there's a bearing up towards the top, so I think that's all tight. So we're set up here to film the cylinder while it's running in and out, and we tried this with the stops in place that stop the wheel from turning. It's a bolt and it hits on the axle end. Without, right now the stops are not in place. We tried it both ways. It seems like it didn't really make a difference, and you'll notice, we'll zoom in maybe like right in here, that when the cylinder comes out all the way, turns the wheel all the way, that this smashes the seal over here. It should start leaking out the bottom, and will open up on the other side. So I'm going to have Jordan go ahead and do that. Okay, we're going to zoom in right on the seal. We're going to watch it as the cylinder moves over and crushes that. put a bar up here so you can actually see the cylinder moving out at the end of it. So you can see when the cylinder hits the end, it comes over and touches the bar. And it's tight right here, and then now there's a gap in there. It's moving over about, close to 1/4 of an inch right in that spot. So there's about 1/4 of an inch of movement towards it out of this outside edge of the cylinder as it's moving back and forth here when the cylinder hits the end of the stroke. And then down in here you can see that it will come over and smash the seal here as it rocks, and then some oil will start coming out the bottom here, which is the problem. We have the oil leak. I'm going to go ahead and send this video into Royal and have them take a look at it. We're trying to be really thorough on this and get to the bottom of the problem. Because the cylinder is around $6,000 for a new one, and it's a nice forklift we have. We really like it. It's a 30,000 pound Royal, and I also want to thank Royal for taking the time to help us with this. They've been very helpful in returning phone calls. A lot of companies won't take the time to do that. So we're going to send this in and wait to hear back from them and see if they recommend any kind of fix that we can do. I don't know if the head gland can be replaced, if this is worn out in here. This metal has worn down to the point that it's letting that thing rock in there, or if there's another problem that they can think of, or if the cylinder is going to need to be replaced. So we're going to send this in, hopefully hear from them and see what they recommend.